interest here?
The possibility of preventing genocides is there, but it's extremely difficult because the killing instinct is, especially when there are more and more people on this earth and when there's a tremendous struggle over rare resources, becomes a tremendous problem for anyone who wants to prevent genocide. So it's possible, but it's difficult.
Thank you so much for being here. In foreign policy, as a priority, how will they be convinced that this idea that every human is worthy of inclusion in actual policy? Thanks.
I believe that political will is an expression of leadership, not of management. And leadership means taking the risks. And so what we have got to do, I think, is assist our political masters in moving away from being politicians and escalate themselves to becoming statesmen.
There are tools now more and more available to us to prevent us from automatically falling into catastrophic failure. Human rights, the UN, bodies, the International Criminal Court, instruments that will eliminate impunity, or at least work towards its elimination. Other tools that give us a sound reference point that are not locked in to nationalism or religious or ethnic elements or gender. They are pan-humanity.
I also think that there's a spectrum of deterioration that can go from just discrimination on the basis of race or religion or national origin all the way to genocide. And we cannot wait until we are that close to genocide to act.
Yo estoy convencido de que
I am convinced the best way to prevent future genocides is through public opinion. Conferences like this one are important to help leaders and decision-makers find common ground. But a conference really becomes important when the decisions agreed upon are then shared and adopted by the public at large.
Asumidos por círculos más grandes.
When the genocide ended, we realized for the first time that we'd never been a priority, that no one really ever tried to save us. But we bonded together and created a sort of family, and that family eventually became our group Avega, the Association of Widows and Orphans of the Rwandan Genocide. Eventually we got back up on our feet and started to rebuild, each of us helping out in whatever way possible. You have to understand something. When you're a survivor, you think you're the only one. Every Tutsi who survived the genocide will tell you this. Each of us believed we were the only ones. Because all around you, the killing and destruction was total. And when you'd meet another survivor, your reaction was always the same. How can this be true? I was sure you were dead.
C'est grâce aux activistes comme Esther qu'il y a eu des villages d'orphelins, qu'il y a eu des villages de veuves au Rwanda où les bienfaiteurs peuvent trouver les gens regroupés pour leur venir en aide. Mais la trajectoire de ces gens, les expériences de vie, c'est très complexe.
Berthe, elle avait 15 ans quand les parents sont morts. Et à 15 ans, elle a dû tenir une famille de 7 personnes avec ses petits frères et sœurs. Elle, oui. La plus jeune, le plus jeune, le petit avait 4 ans. Avait 4 ans. Donc tu t'imagines à 15 ans. Aujourd'hui, elle me disait, mais c'est maintenant que je me pose, tout ça revient. Parce que pendant que je le faisais, je me demandais, je ne savais pas comment je fais, mais je savais que mes petits frères doivent vivre.
You know, at McGill, people don't even know that tribunal exists today. I mean, a lot of students going there for internship. I'm not a scholar, I'm not a historian, I'm not a lawyer. But I want the voice of victim to be heard. I heard scholar, I heard politician, I heard lawmaker, I heard foreigner talk about us. But Where's the voice of my people? Never been heard of. You see in the book, there's a couple interview, but there's no room for us to be us, to speak out, to share to the world what happened to us. So whatever I collect, I communicate back to the victim, create a magazine, radio program, discussion, so that you generate more story and then create the voice of the victim to be heard. And then using technology, internet, website, emails, the idea is to share it to the world, educate the world, genocide is a crime against humanity. It was on Friday the 13th, January 1995, I returned to Cambodia to start the genocide investigation. People should call for justice. Who did this to us? So I found a village chief. He was so honest. He said, yes, I was a village chief. I did this, this, and this, and this. We have to do this because I had got an order. He told the whole history correctly because I was there. I said, do you remember me? I was beating up you God. He said, no. Who are you? And he's a skinny man making basket to make a living with 2 skinny buffalo and, barely have food to eat today. I can do anything to him if I want physically today. But what do I gain if I'm doing that to him? Nothing.
Genocide has been globalized. You could kill masses of people 100 or 150 years ago in one corner of the globe, and it did not affect the other corners of the globe. But the globe is round, and it's become globalized, not only the economy, but the political actions. And if something happens today in Yangon, in Myanmar, it affects Montreal and Jerusalem and Berlin and Moscow and everywhere. And this didn't happen. This wasn't the case before. Today it is. And so the reaction has to be global.
Creating an international coherent voice is not easy. But in the case of the massacres of civilians, the horror of the genocide impels us to want immediate action. And we mustn't lose that sense of urgency. But the sense of urgency shouldn't make us blind for nuanced changes. And we shouldn't think just because it isn't finished and all of the displaced are home again that there has been no change and no progress.